Hi, I'm Jen from MyScrapMenagerie.com, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this adorable St. Patty's Day gnome card with a little secret inside. You'll have to wait to find out what that is. Let's get started. For this project, you're going to need a 12 by 12 piece of black cardstock, 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11 gray cardstock, a piece of cream cardstock, another piece of slightly darker cream colored cardstock, and 2 sheets of white cardstock and a piece of green cardstock. You'll also need some stickles. I used a green colored stickles here. Here we're using liquid glass by Close to My Heart for a liquid adhesive, a 1-inch circle punch, a pair of tweezers, a paper piercer along with the pad, and 2 rolls of adhesive foam tape. One is slightly thicker than the other, a pair of scissors, and 1 small brad. Now that you're in Design Space, we're going to click Upload, Upload Image, Browse, and locate your file. We're going to use the Naked Gnome file. Click Complex and click Continue. Now we're going to get rid of that white background. So select and erase, click on the white background, and we're going to zoom out and crop because we don't want all this extra blank space around our project. So just draw that box around and click Continue. Now we're going to select Print Then Cut Image and Upload. Now that we have it uploaded, we'll click our design and click Insert Images. Now we have it on our canvas, we can click Make It. And now click Continue. Now we're going to select our printer, because we want to print this design out first. Now we're not going to add a bleed, but I do want to see my printer dialog box. So I'm going to click that on and click Print. I just want to check over the settings of my printer to make sure it's going to print out okay. Each printer will be different, so I'm not sure what yours will look like. But I clicked Landscape and clicked off Grayscale because we want it in color. And paper quality is good, so click OK and Print. Now we'll get our mat ready. Just be careful when you're putting your printed sheet on the mat. You want to make sure that it is placed on there correctly and not slightly crooked. Then we're going to click our machine and select Copy Paper for the material. And I'm going to select more as pressure because I know that my blade is a little bit dull, so it needs more pressure. Now we'll just place it into the machine and click Go. Once it's done cutting, we can remove the paper. Just be very careful because the paper can be quite thin and it might get stuck to your mat. And it did for me because my mat was a little too sticky, so just be careful there. We'll remove our pieces and click Finish. We're going to delete this and go onto our next design. Upload image, browse, and we'll do the gnome front. That's the gnome that's going to go on the front. We'll click Complex and continue. We're going to get rid of the white background again. Zoom out. And then we'll crop that blank space down. Just draw a box. Make sure you get everything in there. And crop and continue. Select Print, then Cut Image and upload. Now it's uploaded. We're going to select our image and insert images. And it's on our canvas. So now we're going to click Make It. And continue. And we're going to send to printer again. And just click off the Add Bleed. I'm going to check my system dialog box again because my printer is quite finicky. Once it is printed, we're going to put it onto our mat. Just make sure that it's lined up properly. Select our machine. Click Copy Paper as the material and use more pressure again. Put it into the machine. Once it's done, we're going to take the design off our mat. Now mine's just a little bit out of alignment there. I might have to do a recalibration of my machine. If the print and cut is a little off, you can do that. But it's okay because it's going to go on white cardstock and you're not going to notice it anyway. So we're going to put our white cardstock on our mat, ready for our next design. We are going to change this to a basic cut because we want to now cut just the design on the white cardstock. Click Make It and continue. Select our machine. And for the material, I know that my cardstock's quite thick, so we'll click the heavy cardstock and click More for more pressure. Insert it into the machine and press Go. And once that is done, we'll take it back out of the machine and take it off our mat. And there you go. We have the backing for our gnome. We'll put another piece of white cardstock on because we have to do the naked gnome next. Click Finish, get rid of that design, click Upload, and select the naked gnome and insert images. Going to go to Make It. Now we're going to go to Basic Cut, click Make It, Continue. Select our machine again. And the heavy cardstock. And yada, yada, yada. The more pressure again because of my dull blade. Pop it into the machine and let it cut. Once it's done, we can peel off all those pieces also. Now we've got that out of the way. We're going to put a piece of gray cardstock on there. We're going to do the mug next. Click Finish and delete that. We're going to click Upload, Upload Image, Browse, and click on the beer SVG. This time we're doing a SVG. So we're click Cut Image and click Upload. Now that it's uploaded, select it and insert it onto the canvas. Now here I'm just going to move it up a little bit. And we are going to change the height of it to 9.411 and hit enter and click off the design. Now here we've got some black spaces. I wanted those to be dark gray, not black. As you can see along the bottom here, I want that also dark gray. So what we do now is we're just going to zoom out a little so we can see it all at once. Click Basic Cut here, the start of the handle, and hold Control. Click the rest of the pieces and select the dark gray. And now it is dark gray. Click Make It. Now here we're going to select cardstock. We're going to look for the right cardstock. I think for this we will use medium cardstock. And I'm just going to click on the little star so that I always have that in my favorites. I'm not going to bother with the pressure this time. We'll just give it a try without. And pop it into the machine. Load it and click Go. Once it's done, we can remove it from our mat. Just ignore the little pieces I had cut out at the bottom. I made an oopsie. Okay, so now those 3 pieces that came out of that mug that I first took off, make sure you just throw those away. You don't need those 3 stripes, but these next ones you do. Just so you don't get confused. Now we are going to move on to the black layer. We'll click the black. Second layer. And we'll load that into the machine. I just skipped over that because I had a malfunction in one of the videos. So here we're just going to load the next one, which is the dark gray, onto the mat, load it into machine. Once it's done, we'll take it off our mat. Next is our darker cream color. Load that into the machine to cut. Then we're going to also do the same with the cream color. And I don't have any video of this because, again, I had a malfunction with a couple of my videos. So next, select the green. Cut it. And take it off our mat. Now we are going to work on the Naked Gnome. We're going to take the green stickles and color in his lips and his little so-called swimsuit. I don't know if that's supposed to be a thong or what. Anyway, do the words next. I'm going to cover those in also green stickles. You don't have to use the exact green that I was using. You can use a darker green or whatever you have. Or you can even use glitter, but I'm not using glitter because I have a glitter phobia. And that crap goes everywhere. So no, I'm not going to use glitter. Anyway, once that is done, we are going to put our mug together. We're going to glue on the front of the mug with some liquid glass, or any liquid adhesive will do. And carefully line that up on our mug. Leave room at the bottom there because there is a bottom to that mug. This piece doesn't sit all the way down. So it's just kind of a judgment call here. Next, we're going to put the handle on the mug. And also do the base of the mug. Now we're going to take the darker gray little stripes there. It's supposed to be a shadow effect. Now I forgot to keep these in order. So I kind of had to judge which pieces went where because they were slightly different sizes. So that looks good. And the bottom piece goes there. So we are just going to go ahead here and we're going to glue these down. And glue the bottom piece on. Now I did glue that piece for the handle on later because I made a mistake on that. I made a mistake again. I told you. I'm telling you right now, I make lots of oopsies. So There's a way to fix it. Anyway, let's get on to the foam on the mug. We're going to glue those darker pieces on there. Just kind of anywhere it looks good. Not a big deal. Doesn't have to be perfect. And use your tweezers with these tiny pieces. Because believe me, they'll get stuck to your fingers. and you'll have a heck of a time getting them off. Now we'll just place that onto our mug. Just glue it on there. And just make sure that you have a nice little black border around the foam of the mug there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be even. It'll still look good. Now we're going to place the gray pieces. Just place them on top. Make sure you can kind of see a black border on the right side there, or the left side. I don't know left from right. Left side. Now I messed up. I should have put these gray pieces on before I put the beer foam on. So I just ripped a piece off and tucked it under and glued it back down. No biggie. There's always a way to correct the oopsies. Now, we're going to glue together our front gnome. Put them on the mug there. Just put them aside for now. We'll glue them down later. We are going to glue all the pieces onto our naked gnome now. We'll start with his beard. And we'll glue his hat together. And his little mustache. And now his cute little button nose. And now him. The rest of them. Glue them on there. Okay, now he's done. All right, we're going to work on our front gnome. Just kind of bend him around, make sure he's nice and flat. I'm going to put some foam tape on the back. I'm using the thinner foam tape, but it's up to you. You can use whatever you like. And just remove all the backings there. And place them on the front of the mug. Next, we are going to work on the mechanism. That is the mechanism that's going to open his beard up. Open and close his beard. We're just going to take the thin, shorter strips, place them on the long piece here in the center. On the one side, we're going to poke a hole about 1/4 inch down from the top there. I'm just eyeing this. It doesn't have to be exact center there, but it's pretty close anyway. Now we're going to get our one lonely little Brad and place it into the holes. Now those two front pieces go on first, and then the longer piece is what you're going to use to pull and push the beard open and closed. All right, now you can see the two shorter pieces can move freely. Now you want to tuck them into the slots on the face of your naked gnome. Just push them gently because it might get a little stuck on the copy paper that you printed on. If it's not glued down in some spots there, it might start to push it out of the way. So just kind of be careful when you're pushing those pieces through. And if you notice any pieces are curled up a little, see, just kind of pushing them back down. Now, I just want it to be straight first. Now, when it's straight, that's going to be, oh, here I go. I found some more that was curling up there. I just used my piercer and just pushed it back down. Okay, so that's going to be when the beard is open. So we're going to turn it over and just push the strip gently. Don't force it, but till it feels fairly tight there. That's probably as much as it's going to move. It's just going to move a little bit, but that's plenty enough to make the beard open and close. So we want to push it up. And I think we're going to place something there. So just in case someone does it a bit too hard, it's not going to rip. We want something to stop that strip of paper from moving any farther. So we're just going to cut a piece of the adhesive foam and just put it above, right against the top of that strip, just so it can't move any higher. Okay, now we're going to glue his beard on. I'm just trying to make sure that the beard is nice and flat, so it lays on there really good. You don't want his beard curled when it's trying to open and close. Then we are just going to put a little circle of glue on the ends of the short pieces there. We're going to glue on these longer strips. That's just so it can stabilize the beard a little more. Because just gluing the beard to those tiny little strips, there wouldn't be much support. So I just added the longer strips on there to support the beard, to make it a little stronger. Now we are going to work on the beard. We are going to glue the beard onto these strips. So just put a little bit of liquid adhesive on there. My beard might have a little extra on those tabs on the top. For your design, I cut them a little shorter. So your design looks a little bit different than mine here because I shortened those boxes on the top of the beard there. So don't worry about that. Just glue it, and you want to make sure that the beard starts at the bottom of his feet. That's how you can line it up. Next, we are going to cut a piece of gray cardstock. We're going to cut it. We're going to put the 11-inch side along the top there, so the 8.5 is down. And we're going to cut that 11-inch width of paper at 5 inches. 5.25 inches. Just slightly smaller than the inside of our card. And that's going to be the backing that we're going to glue him onto. So next here, we are putting some foam tape right along the sides, either side of that long strip, because we don't want it sliding back and forth. We just want it to be pulled down and up. We don't want it moving side to side, so that's why we're using the foam here, just to create a barrier, a channel to keep it in place. And if it kind of gets in the way of the little guy, you can just cut some out, cut some foam out of there, just so you don't see it on the front side. Cut another piece to go on the other side. I'm just trimming off a little excess there. You could even cut the whole strip in half lengthwise if you wanted to, because you would still have some foam there to hold that strip in place. I'm just trimming mine off a little bit. Okay, so I'm just checking to see if the mechanism works. And oh, just the foot was a little bent there and catching, but nope, now it looks good. It's working the way it should. Now we want to place them on the backing. He's just going to go here. And we want the bottom of that strip to be at the bottom of the paper there. And place his hat on just to make sure everything looks good. I'm just going to move his hat down a little. Yeah, that looks good right there. Now we're just going to put some more adhesive foam on his head. Just to support his head a little more. And I decided to add a little more foam on his arms because I don't really want him to bend at all. I want him to be nice and sturdy on there. We'll just remove the backings. And before we place them on there, we are going to take our 1-inch circle punch. And I'm just eyeing it. I don't tend to use a ruler a whole lot. And just place it halfway down and punch half a circle out. Now we can place them onto the card. And now I'm just checking the mechanism again. Now we're going to place his hat on, but we want to glue the cute little nose on top of his hat. So just make sure you have it the right way. The little shadow should be at the bottom. And we're just going to put some liquid adhesive on the top half of the nose. So we want it half on the hat. Just carefully place it on there. In the center, doesn't have to be exact. I'm just making sure though that there's no glue oozing out, because then it'll end up sticking to everything. Now we're going to put some adhesive foam tape onto the hat. I'm just going to test it first, make sure it's still going to look good there. And yes, it does. Now, before I did this foam tape, you really should have put the little mustache on. I'm going to be putting mine on later, but you should put it on now because then you can line it up with the beard. So do the mustache now. And here I am just placing a piece of foam tape above his head to support the hat. Now, we are probably going to need some additional adhesive foam tape on top because we need the hat to be raised a bit. We don't want the hat to get in the way of the beard opening and closing. Here I'm just putting some more foam tape on the hat. Okay. I'm just trying to see where not to put foam tape. You don't want to put foam tape on the lower part of the hat because then it'll get in the way of the beard opening and closing. Next, we're putting a piece of foam tape there on top of his head, just on his head, because that's not going to get in the way. But here I'm adding an extra layer of the adhesive foam tape. That's the skinnier one, because there is one piece under him, remember, under his head. So we need that second piece to raise the hat up a little bit. Added another second piece there. Now I'm adding the the narrower foam tape, but the thicker foam tape on the sides of his hat. Now, depending on the size of your foam tapes, you can choose to double them up, triple them up, however you think it'll look good, depending on the thickness of your foam tape. So here I'm taking the thicker foam tape, cutting some pieces, placing them side by side to add some more height, because I still think it's not quite high enough to clear that beard. I'm adding some more onto the top of the hat there. Now we're going to remove all of the tabs there. And now we can place our hat down. Just going to close that beard and make sure I line the hat up correctly. And there we go. The hat's on. And look at that now when you pull down. I just love it. I love these cute naked gnomes. Okay, so I missed another chunk. I tell ya, I'm just having awful time with the videos. So glue on all your letters, and then you get this lovely mug card. Now here I'm putting my mustache on because I discovered I forgot to put it on there. So do as I said before and put the mustache on before the hat. Don't do as I'm doing here now. Boy, I tell you, I've had a lot of flub ups with this video, but I kept going. There's always ways to fix it. Get that little mustache glued in there. And for the card, just place the letters where you think you want them. You don't have to do the letters exactly like I did. You can put them like straight on instead of slanted, but whatever you prefer. Now we're going to glue our little naked gnome inside the card. We just want to do our circle punch at the bottom of the card itself, and then match it up with the liner, and then it is down. Isn't he cute? Oh my God, he is so cute. Make sure it's open flat when you open it, or the mechanism won't work. And there you go. It is your Kiss Me, I'm Irish Naked Gnome card.
And since you're still here, why not check out another one of my videos? And if you like this channel, click the subscribe button down below and click the notification bell and you'll be notified of any new videos.